really, let's get on to something a little bit more heavy, which is COVID-19.
Yeah.
The world will never be the same again, not for the next 5 years at least.
Yeah.
How do young people prepare for it?
So I think COVID-19 is a great reminder for how things can come so suddenly to us, and also how small something can have such a big impact. I mean, I had an epiphany the other day, just kind of looking at a candle I was burning and just seeing this small, tiny flame can cause a wildfire in Australia, and how such a small virus that we cannot even see with our eyes can
Yes.
cause, 3 million people now infected. So just thinking about how small we are as a human being, we also have that same amount of power to do really big change and really make a big difference. So I think like with this world that we're moving into, there is going to be a lot more ambiguity. There is going to be a lot more, volatility. I mean, there's this word called VUCA. It stands for volatility, unpredictability, ambiguity,
You spell
and
that?
sorry,
How do you-
VUCA, VUCA. So yes, so it's a complex. C stands for complex. Anyway, so we're moving into a very VUCA world, which our world has always been like that, except that now it's just been accelerated with, with so many human beings on Earth, with, technological advancement. So, this is going to be the new norm. There's going to be a lot of changes happening. And I think with students who are in school today, your school structure is very regimented. Everything is, everything is scheduled for you. Everything is, you're expected to do this, to do that. But in the future, there is no such thing. So you need to really decide on how you want to drive yourself and how you want to own your future. So I think for students, a lot of it is to really understand, get to know who you are as a person. And, don't follow the herd. Don't follow what people say, because there's no such thing as you can follow someone's success story and be successful yourself. You need to really design that for your own. So I think my best advice is really to have students try as many different experiences as possible, to meet as many different amazing people as possible, and just to get different perspectives, and just to be in people's shoes, to walk in people's shoes, to understand why they think that way, why they behave that way. Because the more you can understand humans, the more you can start understanding how the world works, and that's how you can really shine through that and add value, when you figure out the connections between different things.
It sounds nice, but it doesn't seem easy at all. I mean, I'm confined as a student. I live under rules and parameters. That's utopic.
Yes, I agree.
That?
I think, we are in a very interesting time, because we have access to everybody in the world just through, the different social media platforms. And yes, it may be hard for you to, go outside and connect with people, because of right now everybody is in house lockdown. But what you can easily do is to create, say, a LinkedIn profile and just look for people and just understand who you want to reach out to, and actually just reach out to them. Because you'll be so surprised how awesome and how nice a lot of people are. Of course, there are some not so nice people, but those are like very small percentage. And everybody is very open to helping young people like yourself to give you some guidance, to give you some advice. So I think, as you're at home, definitely take advantage of these social media tools and just reach out to as many people as you can. And I'm not saying reach out to the 5 people that you think are fascinating. Reach out to the hundreds, if not hundreds, the 500s, thousands, because you have to understand that there's a probability of success rate. Sometimes when you're starting off from scratch, you have to hit that many more people in order to get a few success cases. So don't let a few rejections, completely hold you back or to turn you against yourself, but to always see rejection as progress. Rejection is where you can get successful.
That's amazing. It brings me back to remembering how I met you. I was just in the middle of the night watching Drew Binsky. and this really outstanding, outspoken young lady, I go, she has to speak for our conference.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for your kind invitation.
And the world is full of nice people. So that's the case in point.
Exactly. The world is full of nice people. And the thing is, there's also this idea that, when you have this intention, you have this energy, you attract people that are the same kind of people. So I think that's something that I've learned too, is that sometimes I find it hard to be able to connect with people in Hong Kong, because Hong Kong people a lot of times are in this rat race and everybody's kind of in their own agenda. And for me, I just want to go change the world. And it's very hard sometimes to find people that want to change the world and who want to talk like that, because it's a big mission, and people may not always relate to that. So for me, I'm always just putting my words out there, trying to share my story and trying to find people that are like-minded. And it's not always an easy thing, but if you are driven and you believe that you can, then it will happen. But if you don't believe that you can, it will never happen for you.
I'm literally having goosebumps listening to what you say.
No, thank you.
Hey,
I feel an energy field coming out of me too.
Oh, Natalie, you have no idea. Natalie, one of the remarks that you made the other day when we spoke really struck with me. As a matter of fact, I was invited to do a forum with a friend in India, and I mentioned your example, which is you mentioned something very profound. You say that one day when you go for a job interview, and the employer may ask you this: what do you do during the period of staying home during COVID-19? It sounded very smart, but it took me many days to try to figure out, what would be the perfect answer.
Yeah.
I can write an essay about a perfect answer, but I would love to hear from you. What will impress you, Natalie?
I would say there's definitely no perfect answer, and there's definitely no right answer, but there will be a preferred answer in this case.
Okay.
If I were to be interviewing someone, I would want to know that, first of all, do they find this COVID-19, like would they comment about COVID-19 being boring or COVID-19 being the most interesting time?
Mm-hmm.
And also I would want to know, how did they spend their time? Did they end up spending time just watching more YouTube videos, or did they spend more time pursuing something that they're really interested in or learning something new?
Mm-hmm.
Because the most interesting thing about COVID-19 is that it actually created a whole new denominator for students around the world. And when we talk about globalization, globalization means that different students can compete for different jobs, and that still will remain the same in maybe a more remote format. So if everybody has the same denominator of like they all will not be able to go to school, then how do you choose, and what are the choices that you make during this time, and why? I would want to know why. So if, say, a student said, oh, I've always really liked to play guitar, and actually I spent this time and I composed my new song, and I ended up just learning about how to compose music. And then, because you can tell from someone who actually actively do an activity, they will learn something in the process of it. And the most important is understanding the way that they think and the way that they learn through this process. So for me, it's more about understanding what has student done, and why, how have you differentiated yourself, and doing it in an authentic way, right? And not to say that like, oh, because I hear that Natalie said this is really was great, but really, like, what do you care about? This is a time that you can really spend on yourself and figure out how you want to develop skills or learn something new.
So this is what I came up with, and I've been waiting for today to tell you my answer. And please hire me for own academy, please. Now, so I'm thinking of, what kind of person I would like to hire, and to me, I would like to hire leaders. I would like to hire selfless people who are change makers. So if you tell me that you spend the time personally developing yourself, I think it's great. But you get a B+ from me. You want to get an A+, you'll be telling me that, hey, these 2 months I've been out there giving myself, volunteering to make a difference. Now you will get my attention.
Very good. Very good. I didn't want to say the second part because I didn't want to give it away too easily. I want that to come from the student themselves. So I was trying to like give them the lowest bar and see how far they would go. But absolutely, if they tell me that they spend this time to create a new mask or to donate money, to fundraise money, to do anything like that, that is out of what was expected out of them, that is where a true great team member is going to come from.